Hey all, I have a piece that I'm just getting started on, and I thought I'd do some process documentation on this one, especially because I should be able to show it right away. A lot of the stuff that I've documented is just sitting and waiting for release, which sometimes can take a year, sometimes can take longer. But this piece is going to be for the OAX show in January, which is Original Art Expo. This is the second year of this show, and I was not at the first one, but it looked like a great time. So I'm really excited to be coming down for this for the second one. They're expanding the show. It originally, I think, was really geared towards comic art, and now they're expanding out to include a little bit more types of commercial illustration. And so I'm going to be part of the Illustration Art Expo subdivision. And they asked me to do something as a promotional piece, something that would be like used for the poster for this particular branch of the show. I was talking with the organizers, and being as the roots of the show are in comics, and I really, I enjoy doing that stuff anyway, I thought it would be fun to do something that was comic book with a fantasy vibe to it. And originally I was thinking about different Marvel characters, but I've done a ton of Marvel characters, and something I haven't painted yet is Batman. And so I thought it might be fun to do a Dark Knight, where this is like more of kind of a medieval fantasy setting, Batman in a suit of armor type of thing. And so I just have a few of my kind of steps that I took to get to where I'm at right now. At this point, I'm about ready to start doing the actual painting. So I was working out concepts, and this kind of ended up being where I landed. I originally had an idea of something that might be more of like Batman riding a dragon. I couldn't quite, I don't know, I was messing around with it, and I couldn't quite find it. It felt like Batman was just going to be too small in the piece. And so, either that or it would be cropped in, and then you lose it. It wasn't coming together. And I don't have a whole lot of time to turn this around. They want to have, I think, this piece pretty much as soon as possible. So I might put a pin in that, come back to that idea. I don't know. But for right now, I needed to find something that worked, that I felt really confident and excited about. And so that was where I ended up with this rough idea here, where we've got Batman kind of, we got bats coming around him, big, moon behind, some kind of like arch Gothic architecture, something like that. And then the kind of medieval armor, sword. I was thinking like a helmet that looks like it has the kind of like the visor that goes up like on a medieval helmet. And so cleaned that up into this, pretty much is serving as my sketch for the piece. I'm bypassing the painted sketch for this one and just going straight from pencil into the finish. As I say that, I'm wondering if I should. I've already put this on the board, but it might still benefit me to do a color study. I don't know. I probably won't, but maybe I will. We'll see if I do. I think that I feel good about this, where this is at right here, that I feel this is going to give me what I need and get me to it with the finish. So my original plan for this piece was the poster is going to be, I think, 11 by 17. And I was thinking that I would do the original at about the same size, 12 by 18. And I really was kind of on the fence about this. I decided to go bigger. And the reason why is just because I had my surface sitting out, and I had a 12 by excuse me, a 16 by 24 surface also. And I'm just looking at the two of them and imagining the piece on them. And I feel it would have worked very well at 12 by 18, but it's just, I was just looking at it and thinking it's going to work better, bigger. I don't feel the need to overly detail things. I don't feel like heavy ornamentation is really what I do. I think that a lot of what I feel is strong in my work can be done at different scales. I think it's designed to be more about the big shapes and the composition, the design, and that kind of thing. But the bigger a piece is, the more presence it has. And I want to bring this down in person, and I think that it's going to really show well at the larger size. And also, I guess the size of a head is something else that I consider. I think that this one is probably about 3 inches. I had a ruler handy, but I don't know where it went, but it looks like it's about a 3-inch head, and that's a pretty comfortable size. So taking this and using a projector to translate it onto my surface here. And so this is pretty ready to jump in. I'll do a pass on top of this, just putting some basic tones, like really just putting down some dark masses. And then at that point, I'm going to jump in. This is one I'm probably going to aim for a single session, one long day on this piece. It's very straightforward. It's one figure. The background isn't particularly complex. And it's got a real clear central focal area. The rest of the piece doesn't need to be heavily detailed necessarily. I think sometimes having that contrast and finish can be to a piece's benefit. I don't think it's really appealing when a piece has got too much to see all over the place. I like having areas of rest and areas of interest. And so this feels like a good one for that. We'll see. I don't know. There's some recent work I was doing where I was sitting down for the day and having a hard time staying in the chair. I think that had to do with I was just dealing with I just wasn't feeling well. And I'm feeling better now. So I think hopefully I'll be able to hit this in one long shot. But either way, I'm excited about where it's going, and I think it should come together relatively quickly, and I think it's going to be a cool piece. So this is me coming in after the fact with some additional audio. I'm really happy with how the piece came out. It did end up getting completed in that single session, and something that happens with a lot of my pieces, I find I will have a hard time kind of seeing it, how it's going to come together, especially if I'm aiming for something like that, like trying to get it done by a certain benchmark of time or something. And then when I reach a certain point in the completion of the piece, and then everything just feels like it's going to fall in line after that. And I think part of that is because of my habit of starting with the focal points and the most important areas of the piece. And then once those are resolved, everything that's going to be supporting those areas, it just feels like the pressure is off. It just feels so much smoother and easier to move into those areas. It's less stressful. It's less concerning. And so, yeah, once I got that, I think really kind of like the head and chest and that kind of like piece around the hips of the armor in place, everything else just really kind of flowed from there. And then I don't normally do design, but I handed this in, and the folks running the show asked me if I wanted to take a pass at the design. And so I just put the poster design together following some other poster art that they had. And I'm really happy with how it came out, both as a standalone painting and as the poster. So this is going to be up for display and for auction at OAX, and anybody who's coming to the show, I will look forward to seeing you there. Stop by and say hi. Thanks a lot.